What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick Kakis, and today we've got some brand spanking new Destiny 2 news, courtesy of the Bungie weekly update that has just gone live, revealing official information. And so, let's get started. Now, first things first, what's been going on this week with Destiny 2? Well, at the Tuesday weekly reset, first of all, the featured Nightfall Strike is the new Liminality Strike added into Destiny 2 within the Final Shape expansion, which means it's available as a Grandmaster for the first time ever. And I would say this is definitely on the harder end of Grandmasters. I don't think it's the hardest ever, but I mean, compared to last week with the Fallen Saber, it's certainly not a cakewalk. And I did do a video going over some incredible loadouts and tips to get through this week's Grandmaster if you haven't done that, linked right up above. But the other thing that happened with the weekly reset is that a new hotfix went live, and this hotfix contained an absolutely massive change that it wasn't supposed to. So, a few weeks back, Bungie announced that they were going to be nerfing the Still Hunt combined with the Celestial Nighthawk. So, specifically the damage when you activate the Still Hunts like Golden Gun and then you shoot with the Celestial, that particular chunk of damage would be nerfed by 25%. And this nerf would be arriving in early August along with some other balancing changes. However, a few days ago they said when implementing this nerf, it actually resulted in a 33% reduction in damage. Oh, and by the way, we're not waiting until early August, we're doing this right now. So, this all went live with update 8.0.0.8. I remember putting those numbers into my calculator a lot as a kid, I can't remember why. But here's what's going on. So for weapons, reduced Still Hunt's Golden Gun damage while using Celestial Nighthawk by 33%. Again, like almost 10% more than what they originally announced. And on top of that, guys, if we go down to the artifact change, fixed an issue where Sniper's Meditation was buffing Still Hunt's Golden Gun shots. This is actually a crazy change because, again, they're nerfing it by more than they said, and then nerfing it again on top of that by taking away a beneficial artifact interaction. And the artifact interaction is especially weird because Sniper's Meditation is supposed to increase sniper rifle damage as you continually hit a target. I think if you ask like any Destiny player, should this work with the Still Hunt, they'd be like, yeah, like of course it would. The Still Hunt's a sniper rifle. But for some reason, the Golden Gun damage is not technically sniper rifle damage, even though it's the exotic perk of a sniper rifle. Like, that one is definitely a weird one. That seems like it wouldn't actually be obvious, and it seems like a lot of people were expecting that artifact perk to have this change. So I don't really like that, just for ease of use. Like, it's weird when you have, a seasoned artifact perk, and you intuitively expect it to do something, and it just doesn't for whatever reason. So yeah, Still Hunt is down tremendously. It's probably still going to be very, very good and still a very high damaging option, but just be aware of how much it actually got nerfed just this week, guys. Now, moving on from there, let's get to the brand new information within the TWAB. Now, the first thing Bungie talks about, and the bulk of this article, is a massive update from the PvP strike team. The Crucible is not in the best place right now, and they're trying to address that. However, we are going to talk about some of the other stuff first because it's just such a massive update. We're going to put that in the later part of the video for those of you who do play PvP. So the next thing we're going to talk about actually is exotic class item drop tuning update. So if you're still farming particular roles on exotic class items, this is going to matter a lot, with Bungie saying the Final Shape introduced new exotic class items that can roll with some awesome perk combinations. This has made them a highly sought after reward, and we've seen feedback from players that it's currently difficult to get enough drops to target the roles you want. To address this, here's what they're doing in early August. So likely this is going to be August 6th with the introduction of Solstice of Heroes. So, they're increasing chances for drops when opening overthrow chests. And so, as you open chests tied to overthrow activities, your chances will increase. Higher tiered chests give bigger increases to drop chances, and this should decrease the amount of time it takes on average to get an exotic class item, but they say they'll be watching feedback and tuning it more if necessary. Now on top of that, they're actually reducing the chances from unrelated Pale Heart chests in free roam to encourage overthrow participation. So they don't want people just using a macro and doing it as they sleep, which is currently going on right now. They want people to actually be playing overthrow. But unfortunately, this also hurts the people not doing that, just chest farming normally, actually playing the game, and then this really hurts the more laid back method of being able to get these class items, which really sucks for a huge group of people. But on top of all of that, they say they've increased the chance stored up from overthrow chests. They apply to lost sectors and co-op missions that take place in the Pale Heart, interestingly. Now, on top of all of this, they say, additionally, we're adding a weekly challenge to Dual Destiny. Players will be able to earn one additional exotic class item when completing this activity per week per character. Subsequent completions will function normally. So basically, yes, they killed the glitch where you could get 2, or at least the easy version of it. Now you can officially go and get 2 the first time each week. And so overall, I think it's awesome that they're increasing the chances for overthrow. So if you just farm that back to back to back, hopefully you'll actually get quite a few drops. I'm not a fan of them reducing the Pale Heart free roam chests because, like, again, the big issue is that it's so hard to have the random chance to get the exact role you want. There's no duplicate protection. I don't think they should be reducing the chances to get it at all. Let people just farm. Let people get the things they want to get. I don't understand why that's such a bad thing, especially when you can luck out and get the perfect roll the first time you do it. Why are you punishing the people who like have RNG that hates them and just still going for that one final roll? You know what I mean? Anyways, we'll have to see how that plays out, and we're really going to have to see really how much it actually increases from overthrow. Now, moving on from there, another interesting thing is that Brave Arsenal Weapon Attunement is actually back. So during Into the Light before the final shape, you could attune Brave Arsenal weapons in the Hall of Champions, and they say we're ready to introduce a new way to attune Brave Arsenal weapons from Onslaught, and you actually see a screenshot of it right here. So they say in update 8.0.5, players can visit Zavala in the tower to access a new Onslaught attunement menu. From there, players can select a single Brave Arsenal weapon they'd like to attune to, increasing the drop chance by 60% in Onslaught, and this is actually up from the 50% drop chance increase from Into the Light. They say there is no cooldown or cost, so you can swap your chosen weapon at any time, and your selected weapon will remain attuned until you change it or deactivate the attunement. And now, importantly, it is going to be the base versions of these weapons. You can't get the shiny double perk versions now. That was just a limited time thing during Into the Light. So yes, you can still chase the god rolls if you missed out, but again, you can't chase those shiny god rolls. All right, now let's move on from there, guys, into the massive update from the PvP strike team. So here are the overall changes coming in the August 8.0.5 update. So for General Crucible, you have 6v6 map weighting, improved lobby balancing, update on the quitter systems, sandbox balance. Now for Trials of Osiris, Passage of Persistence Trials update for trios. For competitive, you have clash and collision changes, and for Iron Banner, they're temporarily removing tribute for additional improvements. Now, that's the quick synopsis, but we're then going to get into the bigger explanations of all of those things. So for the General Crucible, they say over the past few months, we've made several updates to Crucible with improvements to rewards and quality of life passes on all maps. They've increased the base end of match rewards, including more glimmer, higher chances for enhancement cores and Crucible engrams. We've also created a double rewards booster for PvP. Spawning, zone, and heavy ammo location quality of life passes on all maps as well. Then for map weighting, They're going to increase the weight for Javelin 4, Burnout, Endless Veil, Osiris Plaza, Dissonance, and Eventide Ruins, and reduce the weight for Disjunction again, Cathedral of Dusk, Convergence, Twilight Gap, and Exodus Blue. And all other maps will have standard weighting. They say also coming in 8.0.5 are a couple of substantial changes we're making to two problematic systems that we hope will greatly improve the Crucible experience. First of all, lobby balance. So, there's a huge problem with lobby balance right now. Usually it's just one team stomping the other team because the lobby balance is so crazy. So here's what they're going to do. Random lobby balancing generates poor quality of matches more than any other method. Snake Draft works well for solo games but doesn't handle fire teams well. Average skill works better for fire teams but can lead to frustrating team compositions. We've built a new variant of Snake Draft that should handle fire teams better, and it'll be rolling out with this 8.0.5 update. And again, Snake Draft is where you like put the highest on one team and then the second highest on the other team, and then go back to the first team, back to the second team. It just leads to a little bit better lobby balance than just using average skill. Now, the next topic here is quitters, with them saying our second major topic ties in a lot to the one above because quitters can throw a whole wrench into the lobby balancing equation. So they say the problems with this are twofold. Number one, if they are one of the higher skilled players on the team, the lobby has been balanced around their presence. When they leave, it puts their team at a significant disadvantage. It forces us to try to pull a player to join an in-progress game, and it is unlikely that we can find a player who matches the same skill profile, which means that the player joins a game that has already started, but they're also at a disadvantage. If this was an isolated incident, it'd be one thing, but unfortunately, there are a number of players who are habitual quitters, leaving more than 30% of their total games, which causes a serious negative impact on the remaining players of the games. So they say if you play a long string of games without quitting, the game will place you in good standing and will be lenient if you occasionally get disconnected or must leave a game. However, if you habitually quit a high percentage of your game, you will be placed into probationary status, and if you continue to leave games, it will result in escalating timeouts from Crucible for every match left. For normal players, this should result in less frustrating instances of being booted from a match and getting timed out, but high volume quitters will find the system far less forgiving. Interesting. All right, moving on from there, they talk about abilities. So in this update 8.0.5, again early August, for Threaded Spectre, they reduced the aim assist strength on Threaded Spectre by about 50% versus players and added a short delay before the aim assist takes effect. Also, they reduced the Threaded Spectre detonation damage versus players by about 45%. And for Swarm Grenade, they reduced the distance that Swarm Grenade submunition projectiles can travel once they begin tracking a target by about 20%. Now, moving on from there, they have this big chart on special ammo economy, saying back in May, we discussed changes we were making to the special ammo economy in PvP and detailed a new system, referred to as the blended system, that we were going to be moving towards. So in this system, you will receive 1 kill's worth of special ammo on spawn, 1 kill's worth from crates, and primary weapon final blows drop a brick with 1 kill's worth. The blended system has been out in most game modes, and we want to detail how it's performing compared to the previous system. So again, you can see the results of that right here, kind of in the chart, and their little explanation for what they're finding with this chart. Moving on from there, however, in Trials of Osiris changes. So since Season 21, Bungie says, we've made some substantial changes to Trials that have had a positive effect on the playlist. We've updated most of the passages, increased the post-game rewards substantially, provided bonus rewards for playing as a trio, etc. So they also say we've collected the changes below to help recap the full list of changes, and you can see them right here. So they say the above changes have helped keep the playlist in a healthier state than it has been in the past. In particular, the passage of persistence changes combined with the trio's rewards have had a noticeable effect, increasing the percentage of trio's games played by 30% and providing a small influx of more casual players. Still, we believed there was room for improvement, and we wanted to more strongly encourage players to play with friends. So for passage of persistence, when you play as a trio, we have updated the passage of persistence so that losses will no longer remove wins. This means when you play trials as a full fire team on the passage of persistence, you only need to get 7 wins total and you will receive a drop of the weekly adept weapon. What? Quitting a match will still result in having a win subtracted. You must complete the match for it to forgive the loss. That's actually crazy. So I don't think you will get to go to the actual like flawless location on Mercury and get the chest, but you get that guaranteed adept weapon. Guaranteed. Wins or losses don't matter. That's actually crazy, right? I feel like that is actually going to bring a lot of people into the playlist. Moving on from there, guys, we have some competitive changes. So here's what's going on over the last 6 months. And here's what they're changing in 8.0.5. They say we will reduce the score to win in Clash from 40 to 35 to bring game times closer to the 8-minute target. In addition, we'll be updating the spawn policy in Collision to favor spawning nearer to your teammates. We recently made this change in Clash, and we have seen the incidence of split spawns go down dramatically, and believe this will improve Collision similarly. And they say longer term, here are their goals that they do want to tackle. Now, moving on from there, Iron Banner. So they say, to start, we moved Tribute to the back burner for further improvements. While it was inspired by Halo Reach's popular Headhunter mode, we acknowledge and want to minimize some of the frustration that can stem from things like semi-random bank spawns and getting no progress from kills. Tribute will not return until we can improve it enough to make a noticeable difference. In the meantime, Iron Banner will rotate between Control, Fortress, and Eruption. And then they say, we've also made changes to the matchmaking and reward structure of Iron Banner. So for rewards, wins now guarantee a drop of a random Iron Banner weapon and a very high chance of an Iron Banner engram. Okay. Game completions also offer an improved drop rate for weapons and engrams. Awesome. And then they also provide some changes to matchmaking, talking about loose skill-based matchmaking. I'm just going to leave this on screen if you guys want to see their explanation. And then they also provide this chart saying, looking at the chart showing the Iron Banner participation over the last 4 years, you can see that since we moved away from purely random matchmaking in the fall of 2022, our participation peaks have generally increased, and our troughs are higher too. The current outlier protection system, paired with Fireteam matchmaking, represents a strong balance between allowing highly skilled players and large fire teams to succeed. All right, interesting. And then they talk about facing the future. They say we'll have a lot more to talk about later in the season in terms of what is coming in our 2nd episode and beyond, and we're excited to share that with you once 8.0.5 is out the door. So, we'll see how much this improves PvP. It seems like every time Bungie tries to do something, things are maybe positive for a little bit, and then the PvP community is still coming out upset, so perhaps something more dramatic needs to be done. Moving on from there, they talk about there's the Bungie Foundation Tournament Finale livestream for the 7th Column Chaos. That's ongoing right now, actually, at least as I'm recording, and you can also grab this awesome emblem while you're watching if you do want to check that out. After that, if you did this week's weekly story quest, you get a frog. They call him Captain Jacobson, and you can get a pin dedicated to this guy, as you can see right here. Moving on from there, guys, the last thing you need to know about is free strange coins. That's right, Bungie says with the release of update 8.0.0.7 last week, we had an issue that was introduced where the Strange Favor buff was not providing bonus strange coins when completing ritual activities. As a resolution to this issue, all players will be able to claim 47 free strange coins from Zur when he appears in the tower, and they say this will be a one-time bundle for each account, and will be available to claim until August 27th. You must have 52 strange coins or less to acquire this bundle. So hey, starting tomorrow, make sure that when you open Xur, like, spend your strange coins and then grab those free strange coins. Definitely, that's something to know about. Guys, that is going to be it for the video. Hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.